Hello, good morning, everyone. We want to appreciate you for making time to be with us today as Uganda National Bureau of Standards. My name is Sylvia Chirabo. I'm the Public Relations Officer, Unbs, and I will be moderating this meeting. As we are all aware, and according to the invitations that we got, we are here today to dialogue about how we can continue maintaining standards and product quality for trading online. And we want to appreciate everyone who has spared time to be with us here today. And I want us to start with a word of prayer. Uganda, we are a God-fearing country, and I pray that we start with a word of prayer from myself. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed us to serve your people, we beseech you to look upon us with abundant favor in the performance of our duties. Let your blessings descend upon us and grant that we may deliberate in the just and fair manner to promote the good of the Bureau and the good of our country. In the name of the Lord, I have prayed. Amen. I want to welcome you once again and thank you for waiting. We shall be moving straight to our first presentation on what it is that UNBS stands for and what we need to look out for as traders in this sector. And we shall be having a presentation from Miss Linda Kobere. Miss Linda Kobere is a Principal Surveillance Officer with Uganda National Bureau of Standards. And at this moment, I want to invite Miss Linda to take on and give us the first presentation in our meeting today. Linda, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sylvia. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to make a presentation on what UNBS does vis-a-vis the. Okay, am I louder now? Hello? Okay. I'm going to make a presentation about what UNBS does vis-a-vis the clientele that we are meeting today, the online product and service providers. As said by Sylvia, my name is Kobere Linda, and I work with the Market Surveillance Department. So UNBS, as we all know, is an institution enacted by an Act of Parliament, Cap 327 of the laws of Uganda. It also implements the Weights and Measures Act, which is Cap 103 of the laws of Uganda. Section 21, Section 2 of this Act mandates UNBS to enforce standards in protection of public health and safety against harmful and dangerous products. According to our Act, UNBS mandate is twofold. It's both promotional and regulatory. We promote and facilitate the adoption of standards, of the use of standards, the development to enhance the quality and competitiveness of our products. We also regulate standards by enforcing the requirements in these standards to protect consumers and also ensure fairness in trade. What does UNBS exactly promote? We promote standards development. We also promote the calibration of measuring equipment, majorly in the factory and production setting. What do we enforce as UNBS? As UNBS, we enforce anything that is in the process chain of the implementation and enforcement of compulsory standards and technical regulation. Clause 21 of our Act prohibits the manufacture, sale, distribution, or holding for purpose of sale any product that does not meet compulsory standards. I'll talk a little more about that later. But just again to highlight, what do we enforce? Like I've said, we have the UNBS Act that has a myriad of things that we are supposed to enforce as an institution. Out of this act, we've also drawn regulations, which are the import inspection regulations and the UNBS distinctive mark regulations. I'll expound a little more later on how we actually enforce in these regulations. We have also been mandated to enforce the Weights and Measurement Act, where we ensure that what is offered for sale is true and correct in terms of the capacities that are issued out for sale. Why exactly do we enforce what we enforce? Majorly for consumer protection. We want to ensure that our consumers, the Ugandans, are healthy and the products that they are consuming are safe. We also want to ensure that the products are fit for their purpose. We do not want you to give them a panga, say for example, and when I go to cut, it's like getting a razor blade to cut a tree. So we enforce the health and safety of our consumers. We also ensure fitness for purpose for the products being supplied to the public. We also enforce for environmental protection. We'll check out the manufacturing processes, the final products. There is also an act of the NEMA Act that also gives us the mandate to ensure that the plastic carrier bags have a recycle facility, the manufacturers. So that's also one way that we ensure protection of our environment. But we also protect any hazardous products being dumped into our country. We also look at fair trade. While we are enforcing for the locally manufactured products, we want to ensure that also the imported products do not actually present an unfair ground of competition. So we want to level the ground for fair trade. We look at the prepackaged control, the packaging and labeling of the products should be as per the requirements of our country, and also consumer information. We want to empower the consumers with information on what they should look out for a good product. Some of the requirements of the Act, I say that we enforce the UNBS Act. So some of the requirements of the Act, Section 21 states that a person shall not import, distribute, manufacture, sell, or have in his possession, control for sale or distribution, any commodity for which a compulsory standard has been declared, unless that product conforms to the specifications in the standard. The Act also says that a person shall not import, distribute, sell, or have in his possession or control for sale any commodity for which a compulsory standard has been declared, unless that commodity bears the UNBS distinctive mark. These are the particular sections in the Act that we draw our enforcement arm from, that I'm going to expound on a little later. So the reason we called the online distributors is because after this pandemic, we are adapting to a new normal, and the new normal has online really spread all over it. The online distributors the online suppliers in this case, in our Act, are termed as the distributors. According to our Act and regulations, a distributor is defined as a person in the supply chain other than the manufacturer or importer who makes a commodity covered by a compulsory standard available on the Ugandan market. So online platforms are entities that are involved in placing goods on the market under the regulation, whether it's a virtual market or an actual market. You're actually termed as distributors, and as such, UNBS, under the new normal, is coming to regulate the distributors as well. So how do we enforce as UNBS? I talked about the imports inspection regulations. So we do enforce under import inspection by ensuring that all goods coming into the country are quality assured before being permitted to be placed on the market for the public to consume, provided they are covered by compulsory standards. How do we do that exactly? We have the pre-export verification of conformity, where the quality assurance is done prior to the importation of the goods. We also have destination inspection for those that might not be able to get the quality assurance done before the goods are imported into the country. We'd still do that quality assurance here before we permit the goods onto the market. Another way that we enforce compliance to the compulsory standards is through the certification program. Like I've said, we have the UNBS distinctive mark regulations. So the certification activity is to ensure that all products covered by compulsory standards bear the UNBS distinctive mark before they are placed on the market. We do this through product certification, we do this through system certification, and we'll also do it through batch certification in the event that you have not yet had the whole process certified. And in that slide is the UNBS quality mark. Another way that we enforce our act is through the weights verification, by ensuring that all measurements are right and fair and are also traceable to the global standard measurement unit. We do maintain the national metrology lab that has the global standard measurement unit, and as such, a kilogram in Gulu should be a kilogram in Kampala, should be a kilogram in Busia. So we do the traceability as well as an institution. And the different areas that we do weights verification, surveillance arm. Market surveillance is actually the one that holds all the other enforcement that I've talked about a little together. We ensure that all the products being offered for sale, whether they are locally manufactured, whether they are imported, we ensure that all these products are compliant to the standards that govern them. Those are the compulsory Uganda standards. So what do we look out for? We look out that the product should bear the UNBS distinctive mark if it's on the market. We check that the weight declarations are actually what you've stated out to be. We don't want you to state that you have a liter of water and actually you're giving people 800 mils. Imported goods, we check whether the imported goods were cleared before being placed on the market through the various arms that I've talked about, the PIVOC and the destination inspection. We also do factory inspections to ensure that the processes conform to the relevant standard and do not jeopardize the public health and safety of the consumers of this product. So while you are making a kombucha, which is one of the most popular products these days, you're making a kombucha, we'll come and see is the process that you're subjecting this kombucha to before you place it on the market actually conforming to, there is a standard that we have, a code of practice for such manufacturers. Market surveillance will go and look out for that. The other that we do is check out the customer satisfaction. This we do through the handling of complaints, and particularly for the online suppliers, because it's really a virtual market. We shall have a number of these, and yes, we will still trail the complaints that we get to do a root cause and find out exactly what the issue is and where the issue was. One other thing that we do, of course, when we find any non-conforming products, we seize these. and we may subject to prosecution if it's an offense registered under our act and regulations, or we destroy them outrightly with consent from court. Offenses under the UNBS Act. The reason I brought this up is I don't want the online suppliers, the fact that you're virtual and maybe you don't own these products, you've put a platform. We don't want you to be caught off guard. I already told in the beginning, I talked about who a distributor is. The distributor is actually governed by this act, and so I'm going to give a little highlight about the offenses under the UNBS Act. It's the illegal use of the mark. So if you're found in possession, if you're found manufacturing, if you're found distributing a product with the UNBS mark but not exactly authentic, you literally decided to baptize your product with a UNBS mark, that's an offense under the UNBS Act, and it's subject to the courts of law. If you present a product for sale that does not conform to the compulsory standard, that is also an offense subject to court. If you present a product for sale that does not bear the UNBS distinctive mark, that is also an offense under the UNBS Act. There are many more offenses under the Act, but I pulled out these because I believe that these particularly affect the online suppliers. However, you are advised you can still get in touch with us to get a copy of the UNBS Act. And the message that I have to the online suppliers is that do not be caught off guard in the event that you have anything that may be an offense under the UNBS Act. Thank you for your attention. If the questions are there, I will welcome any questions.
Thank you so much, Linda, for that presentation. Thank you so much, Linda, for that presentation. And I want to thank you, Madam Linda, for that presentation. And in the interest of time, I want to invite our next presenter and also to let the participants know that we shall have the presentations done at once, and then the questions and comments will come later. So at this moment, allow me to invite in Dr. Safina Namuga. She's going to be presenting to us the standards guideline on how to conduct e-commerce. Dr. Namuga, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sylvia. As introduced, my name is Dr. Safina Namuga. I work with the UNBS, specifically in the department that develops the standards, and in the division that deals with management and services standards. For today, I am going to talk about one of the areas which is not discussed much in our community, and that is the area of customer satisfaction. I believe I'm sharing my screen. Am I?
No, you're not.
I'm not. I want to share my screen. Am I sharing?
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to talk about customer satisfaction, with specific reference to the guidelines for business to consumer electronic transactions enshrined in the standard coded US ISO 10008 of 2013. And when we are discussing customer satisfaction for the online suppliers, we are talking about the quality of the service that you are delivering, the trust that your clientele or your customers can have, that indeed what you promise on your website is what they are going to receive, the quality that your system delivers, that when you say, I will deliver this product within 2 days, that is what it is. When you say you are going to deliver, indeed you deliver. I don't have to walk over to pick my items. Satisfaction of the users, that the people who use your system are actually happy and they are contented to deal with you. The perceived usefulness, that what you are offering is deemed useful by those who are meant to patronize it. The quality of information that you give on your website, and all these coupled together will be able to help you continue with your intention of delivering a service. In this standard, we are saying that any organization that is engaged in or planning to be involved in the business to consumer electronic commerce transactions is indeed covered by the standard, regardless of its size, type, or activity. And this standard will help you in planning, designing, developing, implementing, maintaining, and improving an effective and efficient business to consumer electronic commerce transaction within your organization. And we are saying that you should do all this in order to harness the trust, convenience, time saving. You should be able to offer a variety of products and also ensure the privacy of the information of your clientele. So this slide talks about the online environment and the challenges that you may have to deal with as you are meeting the needs of your customers. And we are saying that in this online environment, you need to plan, develop, implement, maintain, and improve a predictable and trustworthy system. This is given the fact that there is a limited scope for product examination by the consumers, that when somebody is going to buy, they do not have as much time to examine the product and to make a choice before the actual you have being misused. There is a risk of financial loss. I may pay and never see the product, or I may get less than what I've paid for. There is a risk of the loss of consumer confidence, that indeed when I decide to buy from you and something goes wrong, I will have no confidence in what you are doing, and definitely there is a risk of a decline in consumer satisfaction. So as the UNBS, we are challenging you or requiring you or requesting you or prompting you to develop a framework in your day-to-day business, in which you consider the needs and expectations of your consumers. You need to look at other issues that are associated with the online business, the privacy that I've talked about, the security, how responsive you are, and the accuracy of the information that you give. You need to consider the laws of the land, the statutory and regulatory requirements associated with your business, the standards applicable to the products that you are dealing with, and the other associated regulatory institutions that may have different requirements that you have to meet. Then you need to consider issues that arise as you do your business, the potential effects of your business and how they are to be addressed. Most especially, you are not in the business alone, people to enjoy doing business with you. Capacity, how much are you able to take on? Competence, what are you good at in the business that you are doing? Are you doing the best business possible? Is your business suitable for the challenges that you are meeting? Are you responsive if somebody has complaints as a consumer? Can you respond? Are you accessible? Do we know where to find you? Can we reach you by phone? Can we chat with you? Can we send you an email? Is it possible for us to walk over if the discussion is too long? Transparency of your business. Do we know what to expect? Do we know what methodologies you are using? Do we know when to expect what it is that we want from you? Is the information that you are giving us accurate? We have to look at consent from the clientele, fairness, integration. How are the different aspects of your business linking together? Accountability, what happens? Who do we hold responsible? Security of information, are you a legal business or is it a briefcase? What happens to my information when I give it to you? Do you use it again and again? Privacy, and also are you committed to improvement in your business? Okay. Then we also need to consider the amount and the kind of information that you provide, especially before somebody engages with you. That we are able to identify your organization in terms of your business name, the place where you are registered, your relation to the parent company as applicable. Do you have a physical address, an email? What channels can we use to give you feedback? Which authorities are supervising you? In the event that it is applicable, the professional rules or titles. Then issues of liability or insurance. Then we go to product description. Remember that this is before we engage with you. Are you able to talk about the main features of your products, the dimensions, the functionalities, compatibility, condition? Are you dealing with new, old, or recycled products? Energy consumption. If I am, say, getting a laptop from you, am I able to know different aspects about the laptop, for instance, how much energy it consumes? Issues to deal with materials, health and safety warnings, restrictions of time, best before, Okay? Dates of expiries. Are there any guarantees, warranties, certifications? The products that you are delivering to me or sourcing for me, are they certified? Can I rely on any third party to tell me about the performance of the product? Are there any reviews? Who has used it before? Then we talk about price information. This one, I'm sure most of us have a lot of interest in it. What is the price of the product? In which currency are we talking about? The costs of shipment, issues of itemized taxes. Do you have promotional offers? And then we talk about other information. This may be in terms of delivery. Where do I pick my product? How do I pay? These days we are seeing platforms which even provide for mobile money. Or are we only going to talk about credit cards? We see other institutions whereby payment is upon delivery. As applicable, it's up to you. What promises are you giving? What is your process for dealing with complaints? And what is your policy on unsolicited mail? So in this standard, we are imploring you to develop a code for your online business. And here, we want you to pledge to comply with the laws and contractual requirements as applicable. In your code, you can talk about the products of your organizations, the promises in terms of prices and feedback. Are you offering the best prices? etc. Privacy of information. Then we talk about issues of inspection. You have seen that all these products are going to come in through the borders. Who is going to deal with the inspection and when? Issues of consumer inquiries, dispute resolution, how you are going to handle complaints, and all these are going to help you in addressing consumer expectations in the absence of physical interaction. So where do you get the information that we are requiring in this standard? We expect that you will walk to the administrative authorities. This could be institutions like the Uganda Manufacturers Association, the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It could be NEMA. It could be the Uganda Revenue Authority, the ministries like the one for Trade, Information and Cooperatives, the Ministry of Health. You can come to our offices and other institutions such as the Ministry of Agriculture, NITAU, etc. We expect you to have information on the general consumer protection laws, the business practice laws, the Sale of Goods Act, competition laws, customs and tax laws, the terms of your contracts as applicable, the weights and measures law, the product warranties that I've talked about, any information on the laws regarding import or export prohibition. Then you also need to know about the electronic marketing laws, things to deal with the payment, data protection, child protection, product labeling, all this in the interest of the global market, the national and the international laws. At this point, I would like to invite any questions, if any. I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just a minute.
Just a minute.
Just a minute.
Thank you so much, Dr. Safina and Miss Linda Kobere for the presentations. And back to the meeting, and dear participants, we've been able to listen from UNBS, been loud and clear on what the requirements are in terms of the quality and also what the standard says, what we expect of you to be doing in your businesses. So it's at this moment that we also need to get feedback from you, our dear participants, especially the business community. But before I open up the discussion, I want to recognize and appreciate the presence of our co-regulators for the sector. We have colleagues from the Uganda Communications Commission. We have colleagues from the National Information Technology Authority, NITAU. We also have colleagues from KCCA. These are people who are responsible for the public health. They are here with us today in this meeting. I also want to appreciate the presence of the consumer advocacy groups. We have Consent with us, and I also want to appreciate the presence of our associations like Ghana Manufacturers Association, CASITA, PSFU. We are so glad that you were able to join us today and listen in as we take this gospel of standards in the news sector that has mushroomed because of COVID-19. Yes, so I'll request that if you have any questions to put across to UNBS, kindly raise up your hand, and we shall give you an opportunity to respond either to the presentations that were made by Linda and Dr. Namuga, or if you have generally any question that you want to put across to UNBS in regards to how we can ably fight the substandard products in this sector. It's time for the questions. If you have something to raise, we request you to raise up your hand, and we shall give you an opportunity to speak to us.
There's a hand.
Okay, can you message Brian, please?
Can I unmute? Not here.
Thank you so much, Henry. And yes, I want to invite UNBS to respond to the questions that have been raised now, and then we shall also be able to get the questions that were earlier shared on the chat also answered by UNBS. So I will begin with you, Linda.
Thank you, Sylvia. There was I'll start with Rena Industries. They've been on the scheme for more than 7 years, and they have a challenge with counterfeit products. As UNBS, we do not yet have explicitly the mandate to handle counterfeit products. But what we can help with is if this product in contention is substandard, yes, we will handle that. But for counterfeit, currently, I think you have to engage the Uganda Registration Services Bureau to try and protect your brand. and the police, I think the police can also reprimand as such, but there's also a police attachment to the URSB. But what UNBS can ably and with confidence handle is a product that is substandard. So we encourage you to keep to bring these complaints. If you know where they are even manufactured from, we can come and deal with that. We handle a lot of information, so you can give us the information, and as I can assure you that we can handle such a complaint. Then Isaac asked about African art. We do not have a standard for African art as broad as it is. But of course, like I said, the promotional products, the promotional arm that deals with standards can actually work with you to develop such a standard. But we have some system certification, but that doesn't exactly cover the product itself. We can assess the system, but we are not yet enforcing standards on African art. And then can you come to UNBS and get a mark and put it on your website? You can put it on your website if we've assessed the system, but normally we issue out product certification marks, a permit to use the mark on your product. So yes, you can ably put it on your product with pride, because we also would like to know that we verified such a product. So yes, you can walk into UNBS. Maybe we will share the procedure of how to get this mark. Does UNBS provide a UNBS distinctive mark for imports? This is work in progress, but I believe that the manager imports is also in this meeting. He may throw more light on that, but it's work in progress. Very soon we will have the distinctive mark for imports. And the other from Paul Muyobo is some products are not a log of product standards that has been uploaded on our website. We also have an information desk. I think the representative is in this meeting as well. He will be able to handle that. Maurice, I hope you'll be able to handle that. Then from the questions from consent, how does a consumer get redress if their complaint has not been handled? Not to boast, but I think UNBS really handles issues to conclusion. So I have not yet had a consumer that is not satisfied, unless you wanted us to go in a certain direction and not be objective. But in the event that you're still not contented, you can use the other arms of government, the police, and any other authority that can help you handle the complaint. But we normally handle the complaints to conclusion. There's a question on the chat. What plan does UNBS have for the adverts running on TV for cosmetics? Those that claim to give extra natural power. We are hunting these ones down. And trying to verify if their claims are actually authentic. The challenge that we have is when they go into the medicinal claims, it is now an inter-organization mandate. There is Drug Authority, there is also UNBS. and the standards particularly talk about what makes a good product. But normally we will engage drug authority on that, but we'll bring the person to comply with the requirements of the standard. And even when you get the certification done, we will stop you from using the medicinal claims or those extra natural power claims on your product before you get certified. And I don't know if I've missed out any.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I've missed out any. I'll let my other colleagues from UNBS handle.
Okay, we shall have Dr. Safina answering the questions that were raised to her. But I also want to let the participants know that we have the UNBS Manager Import Inspection. We also have the UNBS Manager Market Surveillance. We also have the UNBS Manager for Standards. And we have the UNBS Manager Certification. So I'll be calling upon them to come and clarify on issues that are in their area that has been raised through our chat group, and then immediately after Dr. Safina.
Okay. I just wanted to make a brief comment about a question that was raised regarding the key items that one must look out for when you go to the website of a company. I mentioned that yes, when you go to the website, you must look out for the business name. See that the company that you are dealing with is indeed registered. Does it have a parent company or does it not? Where is their physical address? Where can you find them physically? Do they have an email? Are there channels for feedback? Are they being supervised? Okay? Then regarding the products themselves, we must look out for the features. When you go to the website, what can you see? Are they able to define the product? If it is being defined in terms of weight, or is it the height or the sizing of the item? Are you able to see it? What does it do? Are you able to use it with others, especially when we are talking about electronics? I know that sometimes when you are buying items like, say, a projector, can it use Wi-Fi? Are you able to connect it to a laptop? Can you connect it to a television, etc.? What are you buying? Are you buying a new product? Or is it old? Is the item being made of recycled materials? If it is an electrical equipment, say, what is its energy consumption? All those things we are able to look out for when we are in the supermarkets. But try to envisage the kind of challenges that you get with it. What are the warnings associated with the products? Because all these things you can see when you set out. And if you are getting very limited information, then that may be a warning sign for you. Are there any guarantees? Who has certified the product that you are using? If it is made, say, in Kenya, does it have a certification mark from KEBS, for instance? If it is a product made from China, does it have other certification marks? Okay? And then still on that website, you are able to see who else has ordered the same product, and actually what was their experience. Did they like it? Was it too small? Was the color not the one which is shown on the website? etc. All these one can actually see right away. Then of course we talked about the pricing. You have got to see where are you going to pick your item from. Then who is dealing with the taxes? Who is dealing with the inspections? Are you getting the product after it is inspected? I know that yes, like somebody mentioned, they have used Jumia. Yes, I've used Jumia locally, and I've also been privy to using Chiku. There is also Chiku, and on Chiku you get the items after they have been inspected. And actually when you are on their website, you are able to follow your item as it is coming, when it is going through the inspections, and when you can follow it. Most of these things as consumers, sometimes we overlook, but these can help you. They can help you look out for the fakes along the way. You will be able to get some warning signs. Thank you. Then also I wanted to talk about another issue regarding the briquettes. I think somebody from Chikubo Online mentioned. Yes, we have got a standard for briquettes. It is US 765 Part 2, and it talks about solid biofuels. I think they are called carbonized briquettes, something like that. I would really invite all of you to come and talk to us at the UNBS, even when you think that the standards may not be available. Sometimes they are there, and other times we can work together to see that you get what you want from the UNBS. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Safina. I also want to recognize the presence of our Deputy Executive Directors. We have Mr. David Livingston Ebiru, our Deputy Executive Director, Finance, with us. And we have Mr. John Paul Musimami, our Deputy Executive Director for Compliance. They are both in attendance. So we are privileged that UNBS has given this meeting a lot of importance, and this actually shows how relevant our stakeholders today are, and how UNBS has prioritized the issue of standards across the board. So let me invite our managers. I start with Andrew. Thank you so much, Andrew. And I want to invite managers standards or certification to address the issues that were raised in your docket. I saw Hakim around. Are you ready to? There were issues on standards that were raised. Oh, I saw Mariam from certification. Are you ready to share something? Danielle as well from market surveillance, if that is something that you want to share, please. Yes, Danielle. Thank you so much, Danielle. If we don't have certification and standards, are we ready? I want to give an opportunity to our colleagues, the co-regulators, there was a question raised to Uganda Communications Commission regarding the the adverts, sometimes deceptive to consumers, that keep running on the TVs and radios. There was also a question on how government can regulate the e-commerce without a concern on data. And there was also an issue of the increased number of distributors online using social media, and they wanted us to explain. This was raised by Bravo Shoes. And so we have colleagues from UCC, and then we also have colleagues from NITA-U. So giving an opportunity to UCC to respond to issues that have been raised with. And I know we have a team of people from UCC. Hello? Okay. Yes, Mr. Mugabe. Good morning to you. Yeah. Yeah, there seems to be an echo somewhere, so I don't know if it's from our side or from your side, Mr. Mugabe. But yeah. Okay, please. You're now clear. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Henry and Ibrahim from UCC, for that clarification. Allow me to invite Miss Caroline Mugisha from NITA. Miss Caroline Mugisha from NITA, please come and speak to us on issues that have been raised that fall within your jurisdiction. Thank you so much, Carol. And yes, the regulators have said it right away, from UCC, NITA, and UNBS. And for us as government, we are really committed to working together to ensure that the consumer is protected. And one main point that has come out from our colleagues, and as it has already been said by UNBS, UCC, and NITA, is the need for self-regulation. And actually one person says quality means doing it right when no one is looking. And that's the main point that we would request the business community with us today to take home. We emphasize self-regulation. Self-regulation is key. Do the right thing. Distribute the right products to the people, and we shall all be safe. So I want to go back to the participants, yes, and get our last class of questions. So please put up your hands once again. I think we have done a lot of talking as government. Now we need to get more from you. Any more questions? If you have some, I want to give an opportunity to people who have not said anything yet. So my colleague Hosi, you could help me to point out. I can see Andrew Bukenya. Kindly tell us, yes please, Andrew, self-introductions. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Bukenya. I see some. We had Muhammad. Is your hand still up, Muhammad? Hi. Good morning. Yes, please tell us. Alexander, please. Yes, Mohammed. Thank you. Yes, your concern has been noted and you're going to get a response to it. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Then Alexander, let's have Mr. Kasendwa. Oh, thank you, Frederick. That's going to be responded to. Yes. Let's have Hulex General. I see a hand up for Hulex General Marketing Agency. Hello. Oh, we seem to have lost him. So we can have Chikuba online. Call again. I was hesitant to give you an opportunity. I wanted people who have not yet said something to speak, but it seems QLEX General is taking a while. Oh, we have someone called Ready Me. Ready Me? Yes, please. Kindly tell us your name and your company. Yes, please. We can hear you. Yes, yes. Who are you? Kindly introduce yourself. Kindly introduce yourself to us, and then put forward your question. Okay, Mr. Katende, we have our team from certification and the head of standards with us, so they will be talking to us briefly after. So yes, Paul, you still have something to share? Something new? Paul? Kikuba online? I can see your hand up. Okay. I can see Sachi. Maybe we'll give an opportunity to Sachi. Hello. Oh, we seem to have lost a person from Sachi Electronics. Okay, Mr. Muyobo, please go ahead and speak to us. If it's something new that has not been raised before, please. Or something wrong with the network?
I think he forgot his hand up.
Is it a network? Okay, now let me get my the UNDS team. Can we have our manager standards clarify a few issues that have been raised? UNDS standards department. Hakim, are you online? Oh, we seem to have lost him. Mariam, UNBS certification. Would you like to clarify a few things that have been raised on certification? Hello. Okay, let me have our speakers respond to this. Dr. Safina.
I would like to make a comment on the speed of certification. I think somebody from UMA talked about the speed of certification, and he correctly noted that the process the process of certifying the medical masks, non-medical masks, has actually been done at recommendable speeds. Yes, it is true that at UNBS we have the capacity, like you have noted. And the times when the speed is so slow, usually there is a hitch somewhere. And we find that the clientele for certification in the process, when the certification is being done, there is information that is required from our clientele or from the firms that are seeking certification. And in the event that the organization takes so long to respond to, say, the non-conformances which are raised, probably there is additional information. Sometimes it is to do with the testing. You are required to do additional testing to actually demonstrate that your product conforms to a certain standards. If the organization does not do what is required of them at the speed that at the time that the information is required, we find that the certification process takes longer. So I want to respond to that one, that usually when the speed is slow, it is usually not on the part of the UNBS, because the staff are there, the competence is there, the facilitation is there, and we are really ready to do the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Namuga. Linda, can you respond to some of the questions that were raised?
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. I will respond to Mr. Bukenya. There's echo. There is he wanted to know if we refer, should I say, the new companies to experts who have been in the system for long, whether we refer them to people who, I will maybe for lack of a better word, say who are gurus in a certain field. UNBS, like I said, develops standards, and when we are developing standards, we actually have a myriad of expertise on the table, and we discuss and deliberate on these standards. So in a way, we are also developing expertise internally. So when we come and find a new company that may not so much know what is required to make a quality product in the sector that they've got into, within the bureau itself, we have that also as a promotional role, mainly embedded in the certification department. They will help you grow your product. They will help point out the areas that you can improve to make a quality product. The surveillance team as well, when they come to inspect your premises and also assess your product, depending on what we see is not right, we offer that technical expertise. So the bureau has a wealth of expertise within, and we can ably help the small and upcoming and brands. Muhammad from UMA, in addition to what Dr. Safina said, as government, currently we are expected to operate at 30%, and that will be incorporated. It may affect the speed, but for as long as you return the non-conformities, or as long as you have all that is required for certification, the 30% is not also in the process. As long as you have your file complete, we will work we will work as expected and have your certification renewed in the record time. Mr. Kasendwa asked whether UNBS has been able to consent, was asking about. I think it can be incorporated in the new normal as we take on these online things. Maybe we also need to incorporate quality in our culture. For products being imported in a strange language, you don't even know what to use it for. We have compulsory standard on labeling of food products. We also have a compulsory standard on labeling of any other product, and it is a requirement that these should be in English or Swahili. The other foreign language can be a supplementary, but like Daniel had talked earlier, we are at the different entry points, and maybe they may be seeping through the borders without our balances, checks and balances. But we work well, like I said, we work well with information. If you surely inform us, because outrightly a product labeled in a strange language is a substandard product, and like I said, how we enforce, we come and seize and submit that to either the legal process or we destroy that. So if you have a lead to where these products are in a strange language, we will certainly come and act as according to our regulations and act. Mr. Katende, he's waiting for audits. He acquired standards. I propose that maybe you come to UNBS. Of course, the certification department is going to take that on, but we after this meeting you can contact UNBS through the customer care line that may be shared later, so you can come and refine where the challenge is, and as I think this should be taken on. There should not be a lot of delay, though, like I've said, we have the government policy that requires us to operate at a lockdown level. So yes, until we get back to the normal, we are still having a few challenges, but still you can come get to us after this meeting and we find out where the hitch could be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you so much, Linda, for the clarification. Yes, I also want to recognize the presence of our partners from Siatini. We have Africa Kiza, Faith Lumonyo. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. And I've also seen some journalists, the media fraternity, they're also here with us. I saw Carol, Lydia. We appreciate you as UNBS, and I think we are moving closer to the end of the meeting. Just in case there's that particular question that you need us to address, please put up your hand right now as we prepare to have our Deputy Executive Director, Compliance, to give us a way forward from the meeting. So if you have any pressing question, please. I can see Mr. Muhindo. I'm giving a chance to about three or four people, and then we shall be handing over to the Deputy Executive Director, UNBS. We can hear you. Good morning. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhindo. We are glad that you're representing the youth. You're now a formidable force in Uganda, and I want to assure you on behalf of UNBS that we have programs that target the students. We have programs going up to secondary schools and universities as well. So look out for us. We shall be coming to Chambogo very soon, but we have a program. This is something that we've taken on as UNBS, and we are spreading the standards gospel to the education sector as well. So do I have someone else online? My colleagues, you can help me spot them if in case I miss them out. It seems we have been able to address all issues that our stakeholders have brought across today. So allow me to invite our Executive Director, Compliance, Mr. John Paul Simami, to address us. Yes, sir, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Hello, can you hear me?
You're muted.
Unmute.
Hello.
Unmute. Okay, now you're okay.
Hello, thank you so much everyone for sparing time to attend this meeting. And as Mr. Bell has said it, they are going to embrace self-regulation. And the regulators are saying, we are willing to sensitize you, work with you to ensure that our markets are free of substandard products. And I think that is what is very important for us all to take home. I want to thank you once again on behalf of UNBS for sparing time and data to attend today's meeting. And because standards matter really, we were all here from 9 to noon. Stay safe and bye-bye. Thank you.